So this is a little piece on how I got in the door with the Trump family. This is kind of funny. So Sean Reyes, the Attorney General of Utah, great man, good friend, gave me a call a few nights before the election, and he said, Paul, he says, I've got some tickets to the Trump event in New York. You want to come? I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds way fun. You know, we didn't think that Trump was going to win, but it was going to be cool to be there anyway. So we went out, and when we got there, there wasn't two tickets. There was only one, and it wasn't a VIP one either, like we were told. It was just a regular. And so Sean's like, all right, Paul. He says, here's what we're gonna do. You know, we'll figure out how to get in. You know, I'll start telling him that you're my private security, because you know I've had plenty of training. I could easily be qualified as that. And so we got in the door. I pretended to be his security or whatnot, and here we are. We are in the grand ballroom area. There's a whole bunch of people around, and then there's this special section over in this one side that was highly guarded. And these guards are out in front. They're like, oh, you know, and we go up, and Sean's like, oh, I'm the Attorney General in Utah. And can I come in? And they're like, oh no, we don't care if you're the last president. If you don't have one of these gold ticket things, and then the VIP tickets, you can't get in here. And I said, Sean, I says, by the end of tonight, we'll be in there. He goes, I know. That's why I brought you. So anyway, because it's not anything weird. It's just this happens all the time. So I'm going to tell you the story. So we're out. We're just kind of talking generally to some other people, getting to know some fun donors and stuff that are there. And about an hour later, I see this older couple that's walking in, and they looked a little bit lost. And so I walked over and I asked the gentleman, I says, can I help you with something? He goes, oh yeah. He says, we have these VIP tickets, and I just don't know where we're supposed to go. And I says, oh, I know exactly where that area is. I'll show you. And his wife is a little bit older, so I walked over and I took her by the arm, and as we were walking, and she started talking. She says, you know, we're supposed to be in some special seats somewhere, and I said, oh, you know what, I might be taking you to the wrong place, because I remember looking in this VIP area. I didn't see any seats. If there were just a few just were sitting up front. And she says, well, my name is Elizabeth. I'm Donald Trump's older sister. And I said, oh, you are? I says, well, why don't you wait here? I don't want you to walk too far. I'll figure out exactly where you're supposed to be. So I walked up and around the corner, and I got to the people who, you know, that guarded area, and I says, hey, I've got Elizabeth, Donald Trump's sister here, and I just need to find out where they're supposed to sit. They're supposed to have some special seating. He goes, oh, I don't know. And so he gets on the radio and calls his boss, and he says, this is Paul Hutchinson, and he's here with the Trump family. And I didn't correct him. I just said, yeah, I've got Elizabeth here, and I need to find out where she's supposed to sit. He goes, oh, I don't know for sure. So he calls the head of security, the head of the whole place, and this guy shows up, and by then everybody's calling me sir. And he says, oh yeah, he says, oh, there's some seats up front, but there's some random people that are sitting there right now. So I took a whole new level of posture. I says, well, here's what I need you to do. I need you to go up and clear out the people there. I'm going to go back and get Elizabeth and her husband and others, and I'm going to come, and I'll be here in a few minutes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so we go, and I call up Sean on the phone. I'm like, dude, where are you? He goes, oh, yeah. So I says, come around the corner. I need to introduce you to some. So he comes, and I introduce him to Elizabeth and her husband. I says, this is my good friend, the Attorney General, Sean Reyes from Utah. And Elizabeth says, oh, Sean, Paul's been such a good friend for us and helping us. And so then Sean takes the husband by the arm, and I take Elizabeth, and we walk, we go around, and by then they're clearing out all of the crowd for us and stuff, and walking. So they walk us all the way to the very front. There's this special roped off section now just for the Trump family, and they take us inside there. And I asked, I was kind of embarrassed. I'm like, well, Elizabeth, can I get you something? Can I get you a water or whatever? She goes, oh yeah. So I went and got them some drinks, and I came back. By then, Robert Trump was there as well, which is Donald's brother, and Elizabeth says to Robert, she says, Robert, this is my good friend Paul Hutchinson and Sean Reyes from Utah. They've been wonderful friends to us, and I want them to sit here. And he says, puts his arm around me, and he says, welcome to the family, Paul. And so literally we were there with the Trump family, with watching the whole screen turn red it was a fantastic evening. Like, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, Robert Trump's wife says, "Hey, we're a little bit hungry. Is there, anything open around here?" And I'm on my Yelp. I figure out, there's a pizza place, Ray's Pizza. I says, "I'll buy." And she's like, "Paul's buying." And so, boom, me and Sean and 15 members of the Trump family all get into this big van and go, and they close down the restaurant, and we get to spend all night with them for the next couple hours eating pizza and getting to know these guys. And it was a wonderful, wonderful, amazing evening with some fun people. And it just started out by trying to do the right thing, visualizing that we wanted to be there, but not doing anything underhanded at all. It was very simple of seeing where we wanted to be, and then the universe or God or whatever you might call it just kind of throws things together and makes the right things happen. I would say that it's a miracle, but this kind of thing happens all the time. You set your mind on, this is what I want to create, this is what I want to accomplish, and it's amazing how many times those opportunities will present themselves.